June 2026, the mundane analysis, and also for every one of you in your personal life. This is the presentation of the month, how this month is showing us some things. I think that this month will reveal a collapse in the economies, especially we are having this month the enters of Jupiter in Cancer and also the Chiron in Toro. So this is, I think, the theme of this month, but also the theme of the year, because this is the area of the economy, the financial situation. The also is related with resources, the quality of life, banks, everything that is related with money. So I invite you all to go there and check out your chart and see where do you have your Taurus zone, and also if you are near your 50s, you have to realize that this is the Chiron return. So this is speaking about some wound in your life that is your primary wound, and if you didn't work about it through your youth or maybe your growing up adult life, this encounter will show you something that you need to trespass, transcend, understand from some other point of view. And this is really important because if you do not this, probably you are going to be feeling like a victim of something, and especially with everything that is related to your finances, economic situation. Okay, so go check your chart, see where do you have Toro, and also check out your Chiron, your primary Chiron, so your native Chiron, so you can understand these things. Okay, so I invite you all to subscribe and share, and I will be talking about the events of this month, June 2026. I have a lot of transits that for me are the more important principles, but in this video, I don't want to make it so long, so I will be talking about the most important or the biggest, and then I will be making shorter videos talking about others that I think that are really important also, and we'll be explaining to you the charts so you can understand it in the mundane astrology, and also in the personal evolutionary astrology. So I invite you all to subscribe and share, and we are going to start with this topic for today. Okay, this month we have to be really careful with expectation. Why? Because the month starts with expansion, but it's going to the breakdown. Okay, and this is something important. So go with your the things in your life with calm. Okay, don't take important decisions in the beginning of the month and the first middle of the month, because maybe in the second you will regret maybe some expenses or maybe some things that you thought it would be easier, but they are not. Okay, so June 2026 is not a calm month. It's a month that begins with promises of abundance and end with everything in a breakdown. Okay, the central theme here is Cancer versus structures. Okay, and we have to understand that the financial power in the world is going to be I think, the spotlight that we are going to see. And we have here three phases. The first is from the 1st of June today till the 13th, concentration of energy in Cancer sign, expansion but with cracks. The second phase we have till the 14th till the 21st, where we are going to see this breakdown, and what was promised is put into test. And the third phase is from the 2022 till the end of the month, the acceleration. This movement are going to be accelerating, change of speed in the middle of these things, and the end of the month rewrites the rules of the game. So, as I said before, don't get so confident in the first weeks of this month, because in the end you can regret something, some decision maybe. So take things with calm. Okay, so today, June the 1st, we have Mercury getting into Cancer. Okay, so this is really important because Mercury is going to be retrograding afterwards in Cancer in the 29 degrees in the end of the month. So at first, we are going to see a lot of wars, discourses, statements, especially from leaders, because we have to see that this Mercury here is in the 10th house. Okay, I will be showing some things about this chart, and then, as I said, I will be making from others, so this is not getting so long in another shorter video. So we have Mercury in the 10th house, okay, the middle sky, that is governed also with the Sun here, and this is in Gemini, but with Mercury in the 0 degrees of Cancer getting into there. I think that the speeches are going to be about nationalism, patriotism. Okay, Mercury governs the media, commerce, verbal diplomacy, treaties, and propaganda. In Cancer, is getting emotional, and is getting with these speeches about protectionism of the territory, nations, taking care of the people. This kind of discourses or phrases or maybe statements. Expect political speeches with this rhetoric, okay, of national security. This is the bigger line, I think, the graph, protection of the people, and the family and the territory. The tone of global communication become more defensive, more like with stronger definitions about that, and the media will reflect collective fears rather than facts. Okay, news about migration, borders, and water and food. Paying attention to this. Water, food, resources will increase significantly because Cancer is the sign where habitates the moon. The moon are the people, okay? It's a people, societies, population, quality of life, and everything that is related to the resources that the people can have, okay? So all these themes are going to be in the spotlight. So remember that Mercury is going to be in Cancer direct until the end of the month. So a lot of words, these kind of things. But in the end, and in the 29th, he's starting his retrogradation and will be staying there for a long time, reviewing everything that he has said before. Okay, that's why the month can start with some promises that maybe we are not going to be seen in the reality. Okay. Also, we have, then I will show you another chart with June 9th, okay, and Jupiter joined Venus in Cancer, okay. Venus and Jupiter join together here. And this is interesting because it's happening in the 7th house, okay? But we have to understand that I think here we can have some advances or speeches about maybe the ceasefire treaties, agreements in between countries and nations, and this the side of the truth, and peace especially. But we have to know that Venus is starting there, is going to be with Jupiter one day, and he goes to Leo in the 13th. So this is not something that stays for long. And I think that we are going to see maybe some promises, speeches about it, but then which one of those are going to be truth, which one of those um, are going to be for real. So I recommend you that don't have such higher expectations, because it's complicated the moment and the time, especially with the situation about conflicts in the world. Okay, so this is the most promising event of the month on the surface and the most deceptive in the deep. Okay, Jupiter governs expansion, religion, high level finances, everything that is related with the law, justice, international trade. Venus is talking about diplomacy, agreement, and peace. In Cancer, both activate themes of household resources, food security, domestic economy, and the people as the recipients of these policies. Remember that we are going to see a very difficult moment all around the world with inflations, and the theme of resources, uh, I think is going to be the theme for the next years, because Chiron is touching Toro this month. He will be presenting papers, as I like to say, because Chiron enters in Toro, present papers, the themes that he will be talking about in the next years, and then he will be retrograding in Aries. He will be back in Aries, and then he will be entering in Toro again in the 2027 for staying there. So this is important because we have some time to review things and the world also. Okay, so this Jupiter and Venus there might appear as announcement of large-scale economic agreements, trade pacts presents as beneficial to the people, investments in social welfare, infrastructure, announcement of peace or truces in active conflicts. But we have to say that Venus is just days away from entering in Leo on June the 13th, meaning this conjunction is ephemeral. Okay, so I don't think that the fruits can be seen so quickly, So anything signed or announced here will have feet or clay in if there's not a structure behind it. Okay, that something that stays only on the promises, that they never happened. Okay, then we have a Mercury in Cancer squaring Saturn in Aries. Those themes I will be talking about in another video. June 13, Venus is getting into Leo. Venus is getting into Leo. We are going to see that here. Venus getting into Leo. Leo is going to be, I think, the the primary actor in the scene, because we are going to see the lunar nodes changing the axis, and the south lunar node is going to Leo. So something is closing about this kind of leadership, like these stars, like these leaders that they think they are the kings of the world. This is shutting down. And also how Leo wants to show things is going to be ending, and Leo will have to find new ways, okay, of recognition. And Jupiter is getting in there, but will be showing also the south lunar node. So imagine that. So it's really important that you go to your chart, see where you have Leo, and be prepared for those themes in that area. Okay, so Venus leaves Cancers and enters in Leo. In mundane astrology, the focus of agreements, diplomacy, and money shifts from people to elites, spectacle, and visible power. Markets may react to this. Leo rules stock market speculation, political theater, and leaders who perform for the gallery. Venus in Leo craves glitz and glamour, wanting to display wealth. There may be ostentatious announcements regarding economic or cultural policies, activity in luxury markets, and entertainment, but also agreements signed more to be seen than to be fulfilled. So, as I said before, we cannot trust in these agreements in this period of time. Okay, we have to understand also that you can see in the chart that Venus here entering in Leo is going to be in an opposition with Pluto. Okay, because Leo is going to have Pluto in an opposition until the 2044. So it's some time here. Okay, and this is governed by the 12th house, as you can see here. Okay, the 12th house are the revealed miseries. It's talking about crime. It's talking about things that are hidden, um, like some kind of restrictions in economics and everything that is related with poverty, and is in opposition with Pluto in Aquarius in the sixth house. Sixth house is the house of the working people, okay, the conditions of salaries, and we are seeing a world that is it's taking some place in all the things that the the quality of work, jobs that used to be useful, and now this is losing some, I think, losing power with all the things about the AI and everything related to that. A lot of people are going to be losing their jobs, okay? And I think this is also going to be a theme for this the future, okay? So we are going to see some aspects of this. Let's see here that Mars is in the ninth house, okay? So this is interesting because everything that I said before, that the agreements, maybe the ceasefire and everything related to that. But Mars, again, is in the ninth house. Okay, so the conflicts are going to be escalating again when the month is getting forward, you know. So let's see the next chart. New moon in Gemini, the 14th of June. Okay, June 14. Let me see where I have this here. Okay. June 14, we have the new moon in Gemini, okay, here in the second house, okay. The new moon, sun and the moon are together here in Gemini, starting something, okay. Remember that every new moon is a moment where we can take some idea, some projects, some, I don't know, something that we want, some goal that you have, and it's a moment where you can put your seed in the earth and let's ground it. Okay, so the new moon in Gemini activates the second house. So this is talking about money, resources. Okay, and in Gemini, it's related with all the themes of all the things related with money, resources, again, the commercial agreements in between countries, and new ways of this commercial, maybe routes and everything that is related to that. So Gemini, remember, that governs the third house, the house of communication, media, transportation, neighbors, countries, okay, borders. And this marks a beginning of a cycle that in the sign of double standards, okay. So the new moon in Gemini shows something that is going to be changing, new media narratives that can move in two directions simultaneously, and launch of negotiations that appear one way but have another side, and shifts in the technology, communications, and transportation sectors. Okay. So we have to understand here also that Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury is in Cancer, see, and it's talking about these conditions of life and the the conditions of the people, you know, specifically in terms of financial and resources themes. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, then we are going to have the enter of Chiron in Tauro. As I said before, presenting papers. Let's see, that's so interesting. Chiron changing signs, so important, so amazing, and so big. Okay, so June 19, okay, Chiron enters in Tauro. In astrology, Chiron represents the collective wounds seeking healing. Tauro rules the earth, resources, the economy, the financial system. banks, and agriculture. Chiron entering in Taurus open a cycle of 7-8 years. Yes, you heard correctly. 7-8 years um, of exposure of structural wounds in global economic systems, resource crises that force a rethinking of production and distribution models, and movements seeking to heal society's relationship with the earth and money. So be prepared, because these are going to be the things for the next years. The income itself in June may coincide with news about food crisis. You can have that in the red line, okay? Food crisis, the collapse of financial models in vulnerable countries everywhere, everywhere, especially Europe have to be prepared, the European Union, okay? And of the start of political debates on agrarian reform, resource sovereignty, or debt restructuring. Okay, so I will be talking about this more in another video, specifically of these themes. Okay, we are going to see now. Then we have Uranus squaring the nodes, and that is important also, because Uranus is the planet of change, it's a planet of innovation, revolution, technology, and he will be squaring the nodes. And afterwards, the nodes are going to be changing axis. So something is like breaking the rules about how the world is going to the future. Uranus is saying like we have to take this table down and put everything again in place. So big changes are happening, everything at the same time. Okay, then we have Cancer season, the sun getting into Cancer, and this is Cancer season. We always study and analyze the charts of the 0 degrees of the cardinal signs, because they are talking about the next trimester. So Cancer season is something that I will be talking about in some other video also. And now we have to understand again that this is related with the quality of life, resources for the people, climate also. Themes are related with nationalism, patriotism. All these themes again are appearing here. Sun enters in Cancer. Depending where you are in the world, this is the solstice, summer, winter solstice. It is one of the most important charts in mundane astrology. The solar ingress chart in Cancer sets the tone of the next 3 months until September, with the 0 degrees of Libra. The fact that it occurs after Uranus squaring the nose means that the solstice chart will depict a world in reconfiguration. Cancer at the solar ingress activate the axis of national security, domestic resources, and territorial sovereignty. Given the background of all the preceding events, the 2026 solstice chart will require his own analysis, so I will be making that afterwards, okay? Then we have the chart of, let me see, Mars getting into Gemini. Okay, so June we have a lot of things and movements, as you can see. Mars getting into Gemini on the 28th. Okay, June 28th, Mars is getting into Gemini, and he will be joining Uranus. This is something that is really scary. I mean, because these two planets have the same character, like aggressive, conflicted planets. They go for it, they are not afraid to go to war. to make some point of view, or some, to defend something that they think or they believe. And this is Gemini. Ideas, is related with the media. So you can imagine that. Okay, Donald J. Trump is Gemini. So I I am really concerned about his chart, because he's having the Sun in Gemini in the 10th house, and he has already a lot of intents of murder. So this Mars here can show us another one. Okay, so Mars governs military, conflicts, violence, and industry. In Gemini, media, conflicts, information wars, cyber attacks, tension on borders or trade routes, and military movements justified by communication narratives. Mars in Gemini can also activate strikes in the transportations or communications sector. I think we can see some explosion, accidents in transportation, um, from every form. Okay, every form, because Uranus governs aviation also. So paying attention to the routes, to accidents, we have to be paying attention to that. Also, as I said before, the diplomatic conflict expressed through statements rather than physical actions, but with the potential to scale. I leave you there. Leave this there. Okay. Let's see what is next. We have Mercury retrograding in Cancer on June 29. Okay, he is retrograde in the same sign it has been in all month. Okay, in practical terms, this means that reversal of agreements or treaties signed during June, revision of communication or migration policies, leaks of information revealing what was negotiated privately, delays in legislative approvals, and problems with transportation or communication system. Everything said in June is back on the table to be reviewed, correct, or denied. Okay, so as I said before, the month start with a lot of promises, and then this all can go back to the start. Okay, and we are closing the month with the, I think, this amazing change of sign of Jupiter. Okay, Jupiter stays 1 year in each sign. So now he's going into Leo. He will be being, like I said, the primary actor in the eclipses, because we are starting the season in August with the axis of Leo Aquarius. Okay, and in Leo we are going to have the South Lunar Node. The South Lunar Node is really, really more difficult to understand and to flow with it than the North Lunar Node, okay? Because with the South Lunar Node, we have to close something. And maybe you don't want to close it, maybe you don't realize what you need to close. So life will bring you experiences that are showing you the truth, whether you like it or not. And with the North Lunar Node, is what you have to take from everything that you have learned, and put that in the way of your future. So it's more easy to integrate as an energy the North Lunar Node. So Jupiter enters in Leo. Okay, Jupiter is here, as you can see it. Okay, and is in a position with Pluto already. He starts with everything that he has in there, okay? Because Jupiter expands everything, but remember that he can expand good things, bad things, depending on what are the, you know, the reasons that he has there, and is starting his season in Leo in opposition with Pluto, okay, the planet of destruction. So Mercury, I'm sorry, June the 3rd is, yes, the enters of the finals of the month. The end of the month marks one of the most significant transits of the year. Jupiter leaves Cancer, where it has been spending some time. Okay, we've been there for the last year. Things of people, security, and resources, and enters in Leo, where it will be expanding the power of individual leaders. Paying attention with this, because as I said before, this essence of those leaders who thinks they are the kings of the world, but they have in opposition Pluto in Aquarius, which is a sign of community. Okay, so this kind of leadership is ending everywhere. It's ending, it's collapsing. Okay, um, so as I said before, the power of individual leaders, political spectacle, risk and speculation markets, the entertainment industry, and the ego of nations. Jupiter in Leo historically coincides with periods of charismatic leadership that concentrates power, speculative bull runs in markets, and also with excesses of authority. But with the opposition of Pluto, okay, that is not happening until I think Pluto makes the the will complete in 248 years. So we didn't saw it there never. So this is the first time that Jupiter is in Leo, who goes back to Leo, like in the terms of 12 years. Okay, this is a social planet. It's not so slow, but this is the first time that he is getting into Leo with Pluto in front of him in the sign of community. So this kind of leaderships that wants to govern everything, as I said before, with these characteristics, concentrates power, excess of authority, they are going to be collapsing. Okay, because that kind of leadership is ending in the world. Okay, so this will be also the fact that Mercury is retrograde the day before, okay, and Jupiter changes sign the day after, creates a highly volatile end to June in terms of global narratives. With Jupiter in Cancer, the promise was the people, to the people, is now a thing of the past. What Jupiter in Leo will do is deliver it to whoever holds the throne. Okay, so the change of this narrative, is ending also. Okay, we are going to see something about June, but in personal astrology. Okay, with June the 1st, Mercury getting into Cancer, thoughts becomes emotionals for you, maybe memory is activated, what you think begins to have a certain intensity. On a personal level, this affects how you process and communicate what you feel. Okay, the space between the, digamos, saying words, the gap between what you think, what you feel, and what you actually say. Okay, so this is a good time for every one of us with Mercury in Cancer to say out loud the things that we feel. Okay, to say it, to put it in words. So June, let's see, Jupiter conjunct Venus in Cancer, 9th of June. The most expansive transit of the month. Jupiter amplifies everything. Venus touches, okay, relationships, self-worth, capacity to receive resources. In Cancer, this directly impacts the area where you most need to feel secure. So the things that are related with resources, money, and how that make you feel secure. But remember, as I said at the beginning of this video, that don't get so you know, don't take everything for granted, because remember that at the end of June everything is going to be kind of collapsing. Okay. Here the point is that I think if you have believed that you don't deserve abundance, or that love is always a trap, or that stability is for others, this conjunction brings it to refront. Okay, not to confirm it, but so you can see it and decide if you want to continue using that ideas. Okay, so let's see what else. Venus enters in Leo in the 13th. Venus leaves the realm of emotion and enters in the creative ego. On a personal level, an invitation to take up space, to be visible, to ask for what you're worth without the added burden of apology. The specific risk of Venus in Leo is seeking recognition from wounded ego. So paying attention to that. Showing yourself to cover up, to prove yourself, to compensate. The difference between showing yourself from a place of genuine security and doing so internal. Okay? It's important that you recognize yourself first. Okay? June 14, the new moon in Gemini, the beginning of a cycle in the areas of communication, learning, and relationship with your immediate environment. In evolutionary terms, the moment to seed an intention for how you want to relate the ideas and those close to you in the coming month. Okay, with Mercury retrograde arriving on the 29, what you saw during this new moon will be reviewed before bearing fruit. This doesn't invalidate it, it depends it. Okay, the seed that survive a retrograde are those who have roots. Okay, then we are seeing Chiron entering in Tauro, a 7-year cycle, so it's not a weekly transit. Chiron in Tauro open up the wound that people have with material things, their self-worth, their concrete terms, their body, their resources, their ability to support themselves. It can trigger a painful relationship with money, scarcity, guilt, the invisible ceiling of what you allow yourself to earn. It can also trigger a disconnection from your body, the belief that there's always enough for everyone but you. The June influx may manifest as a financial or physical situation to brings to the forefront something you've been avoiding. Chiron doesn't heal what you avoid, okay? It heals what you face, okay? What you see, what you are taking some responsibility for it, okay? Okay, then we have the Cancer season, the 21st, the turning point of the year. The sun in Cancer calls for a return to your inner home, who you are when no one is watching, what your true emotional foundation, what truly nourishes you versus what you consume to avoid feeling something. So this is important that you pay attention to the things that are related with everything that make you feel at home, make you feel safe, secure. Okay? Let's see. Mars getting into Gemini on June 28. Mental energy is exploding, you know. The risk is thoughts racing in 10 directions without landing anywhere. The opportunity, the ability to communicate effectively, defend your beliefs, and take action in areas of communication, of learning, maybe something that have been stilled. So Mercury, with Mercury just hours away from going retrograde, This is the last moment of the month to finish pending conversation before the retrograde stirs them up again. With Mars in Gemini, it's a really good time for you to um, start maybe your YouTube channel, maybe something that you want to put out there, but you have to find a way to communicate that, you know. Remember that this is a period of time and the future that we are going is a place where it's more important how you say things than what you have to offer. Okay? How you can communicate that, how you show yourself, you know. So it's a good time if you have to, or if you want to learn something, if you teach something also, okay, to prepare some movements maybe, okay. So pay attention to that. And we are closing the month with Jupiter getting into Leo. The end of the month marks the beginning of a year-long cycle. Jupiter in Leo expands identity, creativity, leadership, and self-expression. Not as a concept, but as a concrete invitation to take the place you've been putting off with excuses you already know by heart. So this is amazing because if you can do this and take your creativity, you know, and take the risk to show to the world what you have, and with that, again, with Mars in Gemini, you show that, you communicate that, okay. This can be something that explodes and brings you a lot of, opportunities. Why not? Leo doesn't wait for permission to shine, and Jupiter in Leo amplifies the energy for 12 months. The evolutionary work of this transit is singular, learning to distinguish between the ego that needs applause and the being that has something genuine to give. Okay, both will be activated. Maturity lies in knowing which one is speaking at any given moment and choosing accordingly. Okay, remember that the lunar node is coming. Okay, so if you are acting from the wounded ego, you know, you want the applause, the recognition, you are going to be in a big trouble very, very soon. But if you feel like I have this to give to the world, maybe I'm not perfect, maybe, I don't know, something that is happening to me with this English channel because I am recently starting and maybe I am insecure about the words, about how I am saying things. I know I'm not perfect, I have to improve a lot, but I feel that this is something that I really, really want, and I have to show myself here. And it's not because I want the recognition, it's something that I want to do for myself, you know, because I know that I have the capability to do it. And it's something that I feel, I don't know, something so internal, you know. So this is the difference, I think, that you maybe if you are going to start something, to do something, don't do it because you want to be seen, you want, like I said, the applause. Do it because you you feel like you need to do it, because you like it, because you love it, because you want to expand something, because you know you shine. Doesn't matter if there are a million or 10 people watching. Okay, this that is the game in this moment with Leo. So I hope this information is something that you can use to improve your June, your life. And I will be making shorter videos with every one of these transits to explain you more. This is only like the analysis of the month completely. And I will see you in my next video.